Joining me now to discuss this is Ben Newman, who's a spokesperson for the group Animal Rising, and we've got Diggory Hadoke as well, who is a hunting advocate and firearms dealer. Thank you very much, both of you. I will start with you, Diggory, if that's all right. Do you think that there is anything wrong with ivory?
Well, ivory is simply a material, so in terms of what it is as a thing, no, there's nothing wrong with it at all, any more there's anything wrong with leather or horn or any other, or bone or anything else that's simply a part of an animal. So no, I don't think there's anything wrong with ivory.
OK, I'll get your views on this now, Ben. You are a spokesperson for the group Animal Rising. What do you make of this, then, the idea that Queen Camilla could be clutching some ivory as Charles is coronated?
Yeah, well, it needlessly legitimises killing an animal. They should be acting as role models. But I think this overall is a fairly small issue of what Camilla wears or doesn't wear. But the big issue is how we're treating animals today rather than in the 1600s, most of all in animal farming.
So do you have any issues whatsoever with the idea that she's holding this thing? Do you think that she should just not do it, but you're not actually massively bothered?
She shouldn't do it. An elephant was killed for that. There are still elephants killed for it today, and it's sending completely the wrong signal. So no, she shouldn't do it.
Diggory, have you ever killed an elephant?
No, but I've been present when they've been shot.
OK, all right. Are you morally opposed to, even with the current Ivory Act that was brought in 2008, which is a near total ban on the dealings of items containing elephant ivory? Do you actually think that there's anything wrong with shooting an elephant and cutting its tusks off?
Well, it depends on the context. I mean, elephants are shot by park rangers all the time, and the ivory is often taken out of them. And throughout history, people have killed wild animals and used their body parts. Every culture has done it. The Romans did it, the Greeks did it, the Chinese did it, the Japanese did it, the Indians did it, the Arabs did it. Every culture that's ever existed has utilised natural resources. The illegal trade in illegally poached ivory, I'm entirely opposed to, of course, like any right-minded person is. And Prince William is quite right to outline the opposition that we must all have to that illegal trade. But that's nothing to do with the legal hunting of elephants in a licensed way. Now, when an elephant is hunted legally, its ivory is generally stamped with a CITES number, and that person who's hunted that ivory can generally then take it home. But he's not allowed to give it away unless he gives it to a museum. He's not allowed to sell it. So, and that people do check. So it's very, very carefully regulated.
Ben, what do you make of what Diggory said there, which is that every culture does stuff like this?
We're in 2023, and I'd say in 2023, is it okay to harm an animal for fun or for food? And that's what the core of the question is.
Well, go on, elaborate on that a little bit. I mean, so what would your message to Diggory be? Do you think he should just stop?
Yeah, of course. In terms of, is it good for conservation? No one can seriously say the best way to save animals is to kill them. So yeah, absolutely hunting should stop. Using animals in any way really should stop.
Do you also think, Ben, if we're just going to tease this out, do you also think that horses shouldn't be used in the coronation procession and stuff like that? Would you be against that? Not just the ivory?
Yeah, well, really, we don't need to be using animals in ways which harm them for our own purposes when we don't need to. And I think that's most people feel that themselves in terms of their values, but sometimes we don't live up to that, for sure. But yeah, we shouldn't be using animals.
Diggory, do you actually feel as though maybe to give in to this idea now that Camilla shouldn't use this ivory sceptre, do you think that would be giving in to, needlessly so, to some kind of new modern woke age where veganism is on the rise, etc., and it would be a move away from tradition?
Well, it wouldn't be new. We tried it has been tried before. Chairman Mao, during his great leap forward in the Cultural Revolution, decided to destroy everything from the past that people didn't like, that wasn't part of an authorized vision for the future. So it's not unique that we're encountering people who are advocating this sort of thing now. Now, the 1685 sceptre that Queen Camilla is going to hold was legally killed by an elephant before 1685. So by her carrying that, no elephant is killed. Should we apply this to other things? Should we now start destroying things made from ebony because the ebony trade was linked with the slave trade? Should we destroy things that are made of diamonds because there's a modern problem with conflict diamonds and blood diamonds coming out? To apply this sort of nonsensical thinking backwards in history because things perhaps were brought or taken or conquered in historical context and trying to make that somehow culpable now just doesn't make any sense.
But Ben, the fact is this thing exists and has existed since 1685. What would you do with it, even if you don't think that Camilla should be holding it on the big day? What would you do with it?
Well, I don't know where she normally keeps it, but I'll be frank. This isn't going to be the big issue which divides society, whether or not she should be carrying that sceptre or not. But the much more interesting topic is how we treat animals in general, and most of all in animal farming, and that's where actually.
Do you think, Ben, just a final word to you, Ben, do you think that the bigger issue here is that for you, the royal family are animal rights abusers? Ben.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't say that at all. But
I'm asking.
They need to be role models, and showing that we're a country of compassion and kindness, and not encouraging hunting animals just for fun.